Good evening, everyone. No planned chat tonight. It's mostly an update about Apollo Cardiology and also what's been going on with 75 Hard. So this is round 2 of 75 Hard. I'm on day 36. Mostly decided to do 75 Hard this time to kind of help refresh the, got a new Apollo follower tonight. Mostly do 75 Hard is a mental challenge to improve my ability to kind of think of big issues that I wanted to address with heart disease prevention at Apollo Cardiology, and it's been very good so far. Today I mostly spent time planning the Q2 for Apollo Cardiology. I have a big meeting tomorrow for that. So, some people have been following me online about 75 Hard, so, as a refresher, 5 things you gotta do every day, and if you mess up, you start over again. So they just got to take a progress picture every day, see your gains, just follow simple commands. That's kind of one of the features is that, can you follow something simple, just taking a picture every day, drink a gallon of water. So I'm 95% done with my water today. Usually carry around a half-gallon jug, steel jug, and then I have spring water delivered to my house, fill it up, drag it around with me, so fluoride-free water. Then you have to exercise twice a day. There's 2 45-minute sessions. One session must be outside. There's no prescription of exactly what you have to do with exercise. So I usually will work out in the morning time, wearing my glasses before sunrise, and I don't turn on artificial lights when I do. So mostly my first workout of the day is an outside hike, kind of fast walk, usually right at sunrise. Afternoon workout today was an X3 workout. I'm not doing bench presses with this one. This is more for the deadlifts and the calf raises. But the X3 variable resistance, interesting technology, doesn't take that long, and you can do it at home. So I've been doing that every day for the past 36 days, and strength's going up with that. Definitely increasing some muscle mass, and definitely body fat percentage going down, even though I didn't necessarily need to lose weight this round. Doing it much more smartly this time. Last time I did this, I lost like 15 pounds without trying. Was not trying to lose weight, started getting sarcopenic. Basically told me I wasn't eating enough protein at that point, so that's been the big thing. I've been highly focused on getting enough protein throughout the day. Probably somewhere getting 150 grams a day or more protein. So there's no prescription on what exercise you have to do. You just have to do 2 45-minute sessions. One of them must be outside. Doesn't matter what the weather is like. The next thing is you got to follow a nutrition plan. No prescription of what that nutrition plan is, but whatever you pick it is, prior to day 1, got to do it the whole 75 days. No cheat meals, no alcohol. Alcohol, does many things. That can affect your quality of sleep, but also tends to, zap your motivation to really think deeply about big problems. So no alcohol for 75 days. The nutrition plan is just kind of a very clean version of paleo, just highly focused on seafood and getting enough protein every day. And then the 5th thing is you got to read 10 pages of self-help or self-improvement book. Recently I was reading a lot of Stoic philosophy books. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, reread that this year. And then currently going through John Wooden's book. He's the famous basketball coach at UCLA, won some like 10 national championships, and it's all about his leadership style. So been pretty cool reading their stories and just picking up tips and tricks on how to help people get more out of life, patient-wise, but also at my practice. So that's what I'm doing 75 Hard. Keeps me pretty busy throughout the day, and today is mostly a planning day for Apollo Cardiology. We're almost 2 years in as of this summer, and we're still growing and expanding. So it took a while to come from idea out of my brain into the real world, and now it's a toddler. We're still focused on heart attack and stroke prevention. Doing a lot of interesting things with vascular imaging, cardiac intermedial thickness scans. We recently added a MaxPulse device that looks at pulse wave analysis, looking at essentially how elastic your arteries are, so how well your arteries can expand and contract. That's a good marker for how well your blood pressure is, but are you more likely to end up with plaque in your arteries if your pulse wave analysis is abnormal? Always been doing the advanced lipid testing, hopefully to have an update on that in a few weeks. Hopefully it'll be a lot better experience for a lot of patients. And then today, mostly is planning for future, what are we going to add to the practice? So many people have heard me talk about, trying to, beat my grandma Ola's, longevity record of 106 years old. She was born in 1893, she passed away in 2000. She did nothing right from a lifestyle standpoint. She definitely was not a biohacker or health optimizer. So, hopefully, if I follow what I preach and really mind my mitochondria, I should at least get pretty close to a record. And so I've been introducing a lot of the quantum health aspect of medicine into my practice over the past 2-3 years. Definitely still talking a lot about light, water, magnetism, but really want to be more focused on health span more than just even longevity. So want to live well and then you just die abruptly at the end, not have a chronic disease for 15-20 years. So most of that comes down to, again, mitochondrial medicine. So sometimes people see my little mitochondria dude I have at the office. It does more than just being a powerhouse. That extract out oxygen species that tells your cells, which ones are going to die. Don't need to know about that tonight, but the better your mitochondria work, the better your heart function works, the better your mitochondria works, the better your brain function works. So Apollo Cardiology hopefully can, in the near future, be able to add a couple different services that are going to test essentially how strong are your mitochondria. You sometimes can tell by, looking at blood work and also just taking good history, if you're extremely fatigued, potentially mitochondria don't work so well. Heart disease, potentially mitochondria don't work so well. That's the reason I always ask patients about their mitochondrial haplotypes and get that on 23andMe. Mitochondrial haplotype tells you essentially what are your starting battery packs that you got from your mom. So if you have your mom's battery packs and she had a lot of chronic disease at an early age, she got heart disease, cancer, autoimmune conditions, your battery packs weren't so great at birth. It's equivalent to being basically born 20 years old, and you're going to wear out sooner than somebody else who had healthy battery packs when they were born. So look at your mom's health and your mom's health. That's a good idea of where you're potentially headed. But anyway, there's things that can be done to actually measure the efficiency of the mitochondria. So I've done some previous exercise talks talking about zone 2 training, where that's more kind of low and slow exercise, where you're trying to build the maximal ability of the mitochondria to burn fat for energy. That tends to make the mitochondrial base more efficient at burning fuel. And then once you get the mitochondrial base more efficient, then you can do more sprint work. When you're doing sprint work, you're going to require more glycolysis and gluconeogenesis, so you're going to need more sugar to fuel the real fast-acting, fast-twitch muscles and the energy demands of the body at that point. So there's a test called a cardiopulmonary exercise test, or a CPET. It's similar to a stress test, but you're doing a little bit more where you have a breathing apparatus on that's measuring your oxygen, your carbon dioxide, and it's going to tell you, are you just deconditioned? Do you have weak lungs? Do you have a bad heart? What is the reason that you can't push it the way you want? But it will also give you your VO2 max. So, a rough estimate of how mitochondrially efficient your system is working, or energy efficient your mitochondria are working at that time. Also be able to offer either ear stick or finger stick, lactate meter, lactic acid. People always heard about bonking or hitting the wall when they're running. It's not necessarily the lactic acid that's the problem, it's the hydrogen that is attached to the lactic acid that then causes the muscles to not be able to continually contract and relax. And then once your mitochondria clears that lactate, the better it does it, the faster the discomfort from the exercise goes away and you're able to continue. This is one thought why the top level Tour de France riders and Michael Phelps, they were just able to clear their lactate extremely fast. The mitochondria became more efficient. So doing that zone 2 low and slow type training got that to improve. So you can actually measure your zone 2 where you get out of zone 2 into zone 3, 4, the higher levels of exercise, by doing a finger stick or an earlobe stick and measuring your lactic acid. So hopefully we'll be able to offer that sometime this summer or early fall at Apollo Cardiology. So those were the big things I wanted to share today that I was working on, days 36 to 75 for 75 hard. And then, what I'm planning at Apollo Cardiology in the very near future. And future weeks, I know some people have asked me to talk about weight loss. I have a different spin on what weight loss is really about. It's definitely not calories in, calories out. It definitely is more about your circadian rhythms, your light cycles, There's also something called deuterium. You also want to know about leptin. So I'll give you guys kind of a brief rundown of that in a future week. I'll probably do more of an in-depth talk about the MaxPulse device that we have at the office. The MaxPulse looks at pulse wave analysis. It's basically like a pulse oximetry. It's looking at the flow in the blood vessels and the springy your arteries are, the healthier the arteries are. It's a 3-minute test, non-invasive, not painful, and it measures the elasticity, but also does a 3-minute heart rate variability test, basically how much stress is your body under at that time and how resilient you are at bouncing back on the stress. And then also I'd like to do another one on cold thermogenesis or cold therapy, cold showers, cold baths, cryotherapy. I've been doing some cold therapies off and on for 2-3 years. Probably need to get back into it a little bit more routinely. But if you're really interested in losing weight, that's something that you potentially can add to your armamentarium that might help jumpstart it. And looking to potentially get a special guest on there to kind of give you some ideas on how to better tolerate cold therapy. So I know a lot of people have been joining tonight. Thank you for logging in. I see somebody else here who's on 75 hard. I think they're in day 2. So let's see, do I got any questions coming in yet? So somebody say somebody's had some audio issues, but they see an X3 bar, yeah. I've had it for well over a year. It's the main form of variable resistance that I do. I still do a lot of body work exercise, but currently not going in and doing any gyms and doing any free weights or machines. The X3 bar is doing everything I wanted to do for myself currently. And knock on wood, not injure myself in well over 6 months of the thing. All right. So, and if anybody has any questions or ideas on future topics other than the weight loss, the cold therapy, or the pulse wave analysis, just drop them in the comments or send me a message on them. Question. There is not a great blood test that provides info on the mitochondrial health. It's kind of more of a panel, looking at inflammation. Vitamin D has a factor on it. Also, your vitamin A, free retinol can have an effect. Your omega-3 index, the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio plays a role. There is a oral swab company that will look at the respiratory proteins in the mitochondria. I've not yet done that test myself or offered it to patients because I'm trying to figure out exactly if they're going to provide the info that I really want, because I don't know if the benefits of knowing that the respiratory proteins in your mitochondria in your mouth equals the exact thing of the respiratory proteins in your heart or in your brain's mitochondria. And pretty much everything is location when diseases happen. So I'm not sure that I would spend a couple $100 to look at that. So it's more of a test of your zone 2 lactate threshold is a good idea of mitochondrial health. So hopefully having that offered in our office, like I said, sometime probably late summer or early fall. Yeah, the X3 has been extremely good for some of my patients with the gyms closed. Yeah, I'll pick it up if people haven't seen it. Yeah, it's a metal plate that you stand on, but it has a channel that you put the band under, and then you stand on the plate. And you just do different movements with it. There's pulls, there's presses, there's overhead presses. So hits the big muscle groups. You're not going to get huge and ripped with the thing. I know that the guy who made the device, he says that's the only thing he does. He just has some amazing genetics to throw on the muscle like that. I'm pretty much a hard gainer, so I'll be fortunate I put on a couple pounds of muscle doing this program. But the goal was not to lose muscle mass during 75 hard, so I did a good job with that this time. All right. Well, I suspected this was going to be a short one. If any questions roll in, I'll of course answer them. But I thank you guys for joining tonight. I'll be back next Monday, 6 o'clock Central Time. And next week's topic will be more of a kind of lecture style. We'll definitely go through kind of the biohacker quantum health way of thinking about weight loss. It's a lot different than calories in, calories out. So hope you guys have a great week. And if you need anything, just shoot me a message. And if you're ever interested in getting your heart checked out at Apollo Cardiology, website's apollocardiology.com. So have a great week, and we'll see you next time.